So what happened? So why did he lose all his money? He lost all his money not because he didn't give tzedakah. Nagdiel ben Gurion lost all his money because he didn't give enough tzedakah. You hear? His daughter, who was dumpster diving to survive, she said, Rabbi, my father didn't give enough tzedakah. That's why we lost everything. So therefore, Matisyahu Solomon writes that he once brought a wealthy individual to see the stipler Gaon, alav hashalom. Rav Yaakov Yisrael Kanievsky. The stipler turned to Rav Matisyahu and he said, Baruch Hashem, I'm not wealthy. Because if I would be rich, I would not be able to sleep at night. Because I don't know who to give my charity funds. And even after I gave my tzedakah, I'm not sure if that would be enough amount, the right amount, to fulfill my obligation. Because each rich person has to give according to how much money he has. You know, for example, ideally, you should give 20%, says Shulchan Aruch, if you're able to. You know, and a person who doesn't give 20% and he could, so you have to answer to that after 120. And every rich person has to pass that test. So says the Chovot Halevavot, the guy who's not wealthy, he's going to have bitachon in Hashem. He's going to say, thank God I'm not wealthy, because then I'm not going to have to go through that test. So he says, כמו שנאמר, אחד מן החסידים, שאומר מקום יצילני מפיזור נפש. אמר לו, מה זה פיזור נפש? אמר שיהיה לי ממון בראש כל נהר וראש כל קריה. והוא אמר שיכול וברכה בין נכסים. אמר בן הגאזו השיר, שמח חלקו. There's a story, says the Chovot Halevavot, of a guy who used to say, may Hashem save me from scattering of the soul. So he used to tell him, what does this mean, scattering of the soul? So he says, scattering of the soul means that if I would have invested money in every major port of every river and the major neighborhood of every city, my mind would be constantly flipping from one place to another place to try to protect my investments. You know, you ever saw a guy who's in the stock market, how they manage their investments? He has a huge, like 7-8 screens all over. And he's checking here, checking this graph, checking that, like this, all over. His mind is not in one place. He's all over. How is this one going? What about this? How is that? How is this? How is that? So he says, this guy used to pray, Hashem, save me from the scattering of my soul. That part of my neshama is here, part of my neshama is there. What is our money? If you think about it, money is part of your neshama. Why? Because how do you make money? You have to give time. You have to give effort. Where does your time and effort come from? From your neshama. Everybody has a certain time their neshama is in this world. And you gave part of that to make this money. That's why the sages say, if you steal from someone, it's like as if you stole his neshama. Because how do you get this money? By giving part of his neshama, right? So therefore he says, Hashem, save me from my neshama being in 100 different places. Right? Because if he has investments everywhere, so his neshama is everywhere. It's scattering of the soul. And he says, someone who increases his possessions, Pirkei Avot says, increases his worry. You know, it's so funny. The young people, they wish to have a job and be old, right? They when the summer comes, they all want to get jobs, make money. And guys who work, they all wish to be young and say, I wish I had summers like you, that could just sit around, you know, relax, not do nothing. You guys waiting, running to go to work like us. We want to run away from the work. We want to be like you. So the guy who has no money, he says, I wish to be wealthy. And I be manage this and do this, do that. And the wealthy guys look at the poor guy and says, I wish to be you. I just want to be a simple guy. No obligations, no thoughts, no managing. Just go simple, come like a guest, go like a guest. It's funny how the world works. So he says, Marbe nechasim, marbe daga. One who has more possessions increases his worry. And who is wealthy? Ezu ashir, sameh halko. He's happy with his portion. A rich person always thinking more and more and more and more and more. A real wealthy person, Torah says, is happy with limited. Being limited is good. Because if you want more and more and more, it's never ending and you always have a worry. Okay, but how will you ever be happy with what you have? Only if you have bitachon in Hashem. Because whether it's big, whether your portion is small, you're going to know if this is what Hashem gave you, it's good. It's good. You know, imagine you go and you buy a piece of jewelry from somebody, right? He said, listen, you know, this is, maybe it's a fake. Maybe it's not good. He said, what are you talking about? My very good friend gave me this. He would never give me such a thing, right? Never give me a fake. He would never give me something that's not real. He said, imagine your parnasah you got from Hashem. Is it good for you? Is it real? Is it going to have bracha? Is it going to make you happy? Who gave it to you? He's like, yeah, Hashem gave it to me. You think Hashem's going to give you something fake? You think Hashem's going to give you something that's not for you? That's not good for you? Of course he does. So therefore, the one who has bitachon is going to realize whatever my lot is, whatever Hashem gave me, it's going to be enough for me. I'm going to be happy with it because Hashem gave it to me. Of course, it will be good for me. מותח בהשם ישיג תועלת במון. רוצה לומר, פרנסתו. תמנע ממנו מטרדת המחשבה של בעל ממון, תמדת דאגתו לו. As it says, מתוקה שנת העובד עם מעט והרבה, יאכל והשבע לעשיר אינו מניח לראשון. He says the person who has ביטחון in Hashem, he'll really feel the money. What does that mean? He'll have enough income to sustain him. And he will not have the worry of the wealthy person who's always worried about managing his money and constantly worrying how to preserve it. Person has bitachon, even if he has a little bit of money, he's not worried with investments. And even if he has a lot of money, he's not worried about his properties because he knows whatever it's going to be, that's from Hashem. The person who has no bitachon, he can't sleep at night. As the pasuk says in Kohelet, sweet is the sleep of the employee. Sometimes it's better to be employee. Why? You come to work, you go home, you get your paycheck, you sleep good at night. The boss, CEO, what happens to him? He has to worry, how I'm going to pay everybody, where's the money coming from, what did we invest, how much in the register, what did we sell, what did we buy. Sweet is the sleep of the employee, whether he eats a little or a lot, but the rich man, satiety, doesn't let him sleep. So funny, how does the rich guy not sleep? He should be more happy than the poor guy. No, because the employee comes and goes and doesn't have to worry anymore. That's why he sleeps well, as opposed to the owner, the CEO. He worries too much, and in the end, he had nothing because he doesn't enjoy from the money he has. So says the Brisker Rav. Will end with this. The Brisker Rav says that when he got married, his family gave him a gift. He gave him a big dowry. He gave him a lot of money, and he invested in an apartment in Warsaw. So he expected to live from the income from this apartment and to learn Torah the rest of his life without worries. What after he bought this apartment, what happened? The First World War. First World War came out, and he lost all his properties. So what did he do? He said, I lost my parnasa, I need to bitachon. So he started learning Chovot Halevavot, Shar Bitachon. When he finished Shar Bitachon, he was happy. Why? Because now I understand, Ezu Ashir, Sameach B'Chelko. What does it mean? Who is the Ashir? Meaning, the bitachon is the real wealth. He says, once I learned Shar Bitachon, I got bitachon, I was wealthy. Why? He says, the bitachon is not a substitute for wealth. He says, rather, bitachon is the actual wealth. He says, why? If you think about it. You have $1 million, right? You have $10 million. You have $100 million. You could still be worried, even if you have $100 million. Why? Because now I invest here, I invest here. I have a lot of things to worry about, right? Big company I have to, 500 employees I have to take care of, right? But in the end, what makes me calm down? Bitachon. So what gives the real wealth? The real reason why I'm enjoying my money is what? Is the bitachon. So even if I don't have the money, but I have the bitachon, why are we chasing money? What do we want? We want to feel happy. We want to be able to live our lives the way we want. We want to be able to have the means to be able to do what we need to do. So when you have $100 million and you think you have all the means to do what you need to do, but a lot of times you have a lot of emotions, a lot of stress, so you won't be able to do what you need to do. So you need bitachon. So really what the whole world is looking for is bitachon. Because at the end of the day, that's what gives you the strength, and that's what gives you the ability to do what you need to do. So now Rav Soloveitchik saying that I lost my money, I lost my apartment, World War destroyed everything, but I still have the real wealth. What's the real wealth? Bitachon. Because bitachon at the end of the day is what gets me through everything. So people are saying, Babki is life. No, bitachon is life. And even when you have the money, who says it's going to stay with you? Even if you have the money, who says you're going to enjoy it? Even if you have the money, who says it's going to make you happy? So bitachon is really what you're looking for, and that's the real wealth. Baruch Adonai Olam.